Hi, this is Karen with Karen's Cards and More, and I'm back for our Monday night Stamp and Share. This is going to be a mystery card. We're past the weeks of the designated cards, so I just kind of do a mystery card. And this is the last Monday that I'm going to feature the hand pen Petals stamp set and coordinating die set. That was our focus set for the month of August, and tonight's our last night focusing on this. So when I thought about what I wanted to do for tonight's card, through the month we've done cards where we featured on the stamping, and then we had a card where we featured on the die cutting, and so I thought tonight that we would focus on the designer series paper. The designer series paper that comes that you can get that goes with this set is absolutely beautiful. It's just a gorgeous set. Let me pull the catalog. I would show you my pages, but I've used so much of it that I don't have pieces of every design to show you. So let me just pull the catalog and I can show you from here. Okay. And I'm going to try to put it up close to the camera so that you can see, and hopefully there's not a glare on there. But these are double-sided pieces, and they're just beautiful. They target the new in colors, and it's a gorgeous set of paper. So if you don't have that, definitely a good set to get. And we're going to feature some of the papers from that tonight. Now, in the card that I'm doing, it really doesn't matter which ones that you pick. You can pick whichever ones speak to you. I'm going to show you the ones I used, and then we'll go from there. So are you ready to take a look at the card? Really easy card to put together. I did something I don't normally do. I went with this orientation. Most of the time, I never think to go this way, but tonight we're going to do that. And so let's talk about the card base. The card base is garden green, and this is 11.5 by 4.25, scored in the middle at 5.5. And then I have a piece of the designer series paper, and I'm using this pattern, and it is 4 by 5.25. And then I have 3 rectangles. Let me get them all here for you to show you. You're going to need 3, and these are all the same size, and these are 1.5 by 3.5. And then I chose 3 different designs. You could use the same design. I used all florals, but you could definitely choose from, there's some that are less busy of a floral, like this one's more polka dot, this one's just got the stems with the leaves, so you have lots of options. I went with all 3 of the florals, and these are 1 3/8 by 3 3/8. You also need 3 of these. Then I also used the Stitched So Sweetly dies. I used the second smallest to cut a piece of the garden green, which is going to be the matte layer for our sentiment. So that second smallest one I cut from the garden green. And then from basic white, I just cut a little rectangle that's 7/8 by 1 7/8. And that's going to fit really nicely between the stitching of our rectangle, and it's still big enough that we can stamp the word thanks on it from the set. That's the only stamping that we're going to do tonight, is the word thanks. Then I also used these Genial Gems. The greenish color has some peach glitter to it, flakes to it. And I thought that'd be really pretty with this designer series paper. So I'm going to use those as well. So let's get right to it. This is another easy card to put together. I'm going to use all liquid glue tonight, and I'll tell you why. With these rectangles and trying to line them up and get them where I want them and have the spacing right and being able to manipulate them, it's much easier with the liquid glue than if you use the Stampin' Seal. Stampin' Seal, once you put it down, you can get it up, but it's harder to deal with. The liquid glue, you got a little bit of time to get it moved should you need to. And with these little pieces, it's just much easier for me to use the liquid glue. So that's what I'm going to use tonight. So let's start by doing our only stamping of the night. And that's, we're going to stamp the word thanks that comes in this set. And we're going to stamp it on this little white rectangle. Couldn't even think of what a rectangle was called. It's been a long day. So I'm going to bring in my mat to do it on. And I'm just using the black Memento ink. And I'm just going to ink this up. And I'm just going to stamp this down. Just like that. So we've got that done. That's our only stamping for the night. That's it. Okay, so let's just put things together. So I'm going to start with this piece. And I'm going to bring in my silicone mat. I like to work on this when I'm using the liquid glue or the Stampin' Seal, so that if I go off of the paper, I'm not going to get it on my surface and have to deal with stickiness. So I'm just going to come in with the liquid glue, and you do not have to get every inch. This stuff holds really well. You don't want it oozing out, so you definitely don't need to go really crazy with the glue. So I'm just going to pick this up. And we're just going to try to line this up. And like I said, we'll have a little bit of time to move it if we need to. And I think that looks pretty good, so I'm going to press it down. And I've got a little corner here that's wanting to stick up, so I'm just going to add a little more glue to that and push that down. Now we can just start assembling these other little pieces. So let's go ahead and put our sentiment on our little rectangle. So I'm just going to put some liquid glue. And I'm just going to try to center this between the stitching. Just like that. Okay. Now we're going to put each of these together. I'm going to move this piece out of the way while we are constructing. So I'm just going to put some liquid glue on here. And right now, I mean, we'll be able to figure out our placement, right side up and all that before we glue them down. This part of the process, it really doesn't matter. And this is going to be a narrow border. So I'm just manipulating it a little bit and getting it where I want it. And you even have a little bit of time if you need to pull it up. But I think that's pretty good. I'm gonna leave it alone. Again, I'm putting my liquid glue on here. And I'm just going to add that to that. We got one more to go. And we're just going to place this on here. Just like that. So we got our 3 pieces. Now, what I like to do is I like to lay them out. Get them all right side up the way that I want them. And then just kind of play with how I want the patterns to go. What I think looks best. These two have a lot of peach, so I want to split them up with the purple. And I guess it really doesn't matter which one goes on which side, but I'm going to do it like that. So I'm going to bring in my card base again. And what I like to do is I like to put the center one on first, because that helps me with where I need to put the other 2. If you start with the end one and you don't get it where you need to, then everything's going to be crunched from there. So just a little tip, I like to start with the center one. And I like to dry fit them. I put them down and kind of get an idea of where that center one needs to go. I kind of look at the paper, especially when you're working with a design paper, I can kind of see where those 2 little flowers, the little space between those 2 flowers is about the middle of this piece. So that'll help me as a guide when I go to glue this down. Just little things like that that I look for to help me get things lined up. So I'm just going to put some liquid glue on the back of my rectangular piece that we just put together. And again, I'm looking for those marks that I decided that's where my middle is. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, and then I'm just going to line these up on each side and center them between the space that's left. And here's where I said it's really good with the liquid glue, because if you get it too close and you need to move it, or if you don't get it straight, you just have a little bit of time to maneuver. So I think that's good. So we have one last rectangle to put on. And I want to show you, this is why I love the silicone mat. So you can see that I got a little bit of glue off of the paper. If I just let this dry, when that's dry, I can just rub that glue right off of the mat. It's not so easy to get off my laminate countertop, but it's very easy to get off the silicone mat. So that's why I like liquid glue, or to use the silicone mat when I'm using my glue. No matter the type of glue, whether it's the Stampin' Seal or the liquid glue, either one will come off very easily. Okay, I think that looks good. So we've got our 3 panels on, and we're ready to put, I'm going to go ahead and fold this, and I'm going to bring in my bone folder and just go across it to make sure it's nice and flat. And then we're just going to put this across the top. Now you could use dimensionals for this, but I found, for me, I thought since there's already so much dimension with all the layers, I chose not to put mine on with dimensionals. But you could definitely do that if you like that look better. It's all in what you want to do, and make it yours, right? It's your creation. So I'm just going to turn this over, and I just kind of centered it. I think that looks good right there. And I'm done with the glue, so I'm going to get it out of the way. and I'm going to come in with my gems. Now on this one, I used all the smaller gems instead of the big ones, and I put one on my sentiment, and then I just put one on each of the other 2 panels. So that's what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to come in, and I looked for, you know, each of these gems looks different. They have different, varying degrees of the peach in them. So I tried to find ones that had more of the peach. I went with those because I wanted to draw out the peach that's in the other designs. And I love the sparkle on these. So I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to see where I want to put them. Maybe, how about there? And one more. How about there? And that looks good. Okay, just that easy. The card's put together and done. We have a great thank you card that we can send out. I didn't do anything with the inside yet, wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but you could definitely, I will definitely add a piece of the basic white and do some either stamping or something on that when I know who I'm sending it to and how I want to finish it off. So a lot of times I will leave them like that. You'll see on a lot of videos I do go ahead and do the inside, but sometimes I like to just leave it alone, and then when I get ready to send it, to personalize it. I think sometimes that's a really good, nice touch when you can personalize it for the person that you're sending it to. So I hope you've enjoyed the month of August. I hope you've enjoyed the hand pen Petals set, the suite, the designer series paper, the stamp set, the die set, all beautiful, beautiful products to add to your collection. If you don't have them and after watching the videos for the month of August, you're hooked, you can order it from my store, which is karensmith.stampinup.net. Be sure to join my Facebook group and follow my Facebook page and subscribe to my YouTube channel and give me a thumbs up if you like the video. If you have a comment, leave the comment. And next month, we are going to be featuring the Love of Leaves set. So if you go to my Facebook group or my Facebook page, Karen's Cards and More, you'll see the 3 projects that I have lined up for the month of September. And it's all using this stamp set and the coordinating die set. Also, in the next week, week and a half, I will be posting the projects and the sets that I'm going to be using for the month of October. So that will give you plenty of time, if you don't have it, to order it and be ready to go for October. So definitely keep an eye on that, and I will craft with you again soon.